Ganking in Dota is a lot of fun, but can also be very rewarding. So in this video, you are going to learn all about the art of ganking. A lot of people don't actually know where this term comes from, but it's basically a combination of gang and kill, which makes a lot of sense as usually you will want more than one hero to gank the enemy. Anyway, by the end of the video, you'll have learnt how to gank the enemy effectively, and I'll also go through some of the good ganking heroes and items that will help make it easier. Just quickly though, if you guys are interested in improving further than just from what you can learn from my YouTube, then check out Gamers Class. I'm no professional at Dota, but Gamers Class has partnered with some of the best world-class talent, such as N0tail, the captain of two-time TI winning team OG, to bring you courses designed to teach you everything you need to know to maximize your MMR and skill of the game. They've even got a monthly subscription where you can access daily videos, have your replays analysed, and even join live sessions with pro players to help answer your questions. If you're serious about getting better at Dota or many other games, I'm sure that Gamers Class has the content to help you get to the level you want. How do I know? Well, I actually help create some of their content and have learnt a lot myself from what they provide, so I can personally vouch for how good it really is. So if this sounds like something for you, follow the link in the description or use the code DEFIED15 when you check out to get a 15% discount. Awesome guys, let's get started. Why bother ganking? Well, imagine a game of Dota where everyone just hit creeps for 60 minutes and then the team who killed more creeps then wins. That would be pretty boring, right? Yeah, so ganking makes the game a lot more fun and exciting and dangerous as you need to pay more attention to the map to work out where the enemies are and who might be a good target, or even if you are getting ganked yourself. The main reason for a gank though is to gain an advantage over the enemy by killing them, as this will give you golden experience from their death and enable you to take an objective while they are dead, such as a tower or Roshan. By killing off one of the enemy core heroes, you are also slowing down their farm and item progression, which prevents them from being a threat as early as if they were just left to farm. Ganking is also good for making space for your carry to farm, as the enemy will likely teleport heroes to help defend against your gank. Making the enemy react like this will relieve pressure on your carry hero so they can more easily and safely farm the creep waves in jungle without fear of being ganked themselves. So those are the main reasons that you might want to gank. However, ganking can be high risk, high reward. See, ganking usually takes you out of lane, meaning you are not farming or getting experience during this time. If you are trying to gank and the enemy realizes you are coming, they might be able to retreat to the tower, making your movement a waste of time. What's worse is if they realize that they can gank you while you are trying to gank, they can really punish you and reverse the effects of the gank that you had in mind. A successful gank can mean the difference between winning and losing, so now I'm going to teach you everything I can to help improve your chances. Okay, so you need to know how to set up a gank, and you've got to consider a few things which will help to determine if your gank will be successful or not. The first one is when to gank. Over the course of a game, you will be constantly looking to gank the enemy or escape from enemy ganks, but how do you decide when is a good time? Well, let's say you are a support hero, so you will want to consider if it's okay to leave your lane. If your carry hero is okay by themselves, or you are not much use there anyway because the lane is at a huge disadvantage, it is probably okay to leave. If the lane is hard but they aren't likely to be killed unless caught out of position, you leaving might help to get the offlaner or support to teleport away from your carry, which will make their lives easier. You'll also want to consider what abilities you and your teammates have. Having a stun or a slow or other disable will greatly increase your chances of success. A high damage nuke spell can also help, though at lower levels your auto attacks are going to be the main source of damage. If you or your allies don't have a disable, the enemy can easily run away from you or even just teleport out, so maybe wait to level up and get a disable before ganking. You can also consider power spikes here. For example, say you're a Lion and you're level 5, so you don't quite have your ultimate yet. But you know, Lion does have a lot of disables, so he's not totally hopeless with a gank, but at level 6 your ultimate does insane damage and is a huge power spike that you should take advantage of. Using this level up as an advantage in a gank can really turn the odds in your favour, and all heroes have power spikes at different levels, so make sure you use them as much as possible. Another time to look to gank is if you've just got a haste, double damage or invisibility rune, as these give you a massive advantage when ganking. These are usually best when the mid hero has them to gank a side lane, although you can sometimes pick them up as a support to help when ganking mid. Next, are there any lanes that are struggling that you could help? If your mid lane is having a hard time, then it is likely a good time to try and set up a gank on the enemy mid to help give your teammates some breathing space or turn the advantage in their favour. Similarly, if the enemy is overpowering another lane or you are unable to really prevent the enemy carry from farming, it could be worth your time going to that lane to slow them down. Is it nighttime or daytime? Most heroes can see much further during daytime than nighttime, so ganking during night can sometimes be more effective. The enemy heroes are less likely to see you approaching until you are within range to cast a disable, giving them much less time to react and try to escape. All heroes have 1800 day vision and 800 night vision, but there are some heroes with non-standard vision, and it is worth being aware of those ones as they might be more difficult to gank during night and see you before you see them. The last thing for deciding when to gank is probably one of the most important ones, and that is the enemy's position. If the enemy is hugging their tower and you have to dive for the kill, it can be much more difficult to gank them, and they can even turn the gank around by teleporting heroes in once you've committed for the dive. Instead, look for heroes out of position that are far away from their tower or nearby other enemy heroes. This makes it much easier to come from behind and stop them from getting back to their tower and back to safety. Also, keep an eye out for heroes that are diving your teammates, as you can teleport into the tower and turn the fight in your favour. Alright, so we've covered when to gank, and you've decided that now is a good time to gank a lane. The enemy is out of position and you can take advantage of this. Alright, so what path are you going to take? The most important thing when moving to gank is not to be seen. This means you need to avoid showing yourself before you initiate. Consider enemy heroes, towers and creeps, and don't walk past them until you are ready to jump in. When the enemy does see you, they are going to back off to safety or teleport away, which will waste your time. To prevent them from doing this, you'll usually want to get between them and their path to safety, which is usually behind them. Initiating from behind means they need to run past you first in order to get to safety, allowing you to get more attacks and damage in before they get away, usually resulting in a successful gank. Another way to not get spotted is to consider the height position of the enemy relative to your own. In mid, for example, it is much easier to see when on the high ground and not in the river. Before initiating a mid gank, being patient and waiting for them to move into the river will help you to get closer before they realise you are there and give you the extra time you need to kill them off. Also, try to use the trees around the map for cover and hide behind them until your enemy is out of position before initiating. Now, if you have done all of these things and have been careful not to be spotted, but the enemy seems to back away anyway as you approach, this is a good indication that you've run past an enemy ward. You can use this as a chance to deward the enemy and try again, or come from a different direction so that they don't see you. Okay, so you're ready to execute the gank, and the first thing you need to do is communicate with your team to let them know to help with the kill. There's nothing worse than trying to gank a lane and then realizing it is just you as your allies have no mana or haven't got the right skill to help out, so make sure to talk to them first or ping them so that they know you're coming. Once you're almost ready, work out who will stun first and then chain the stuns and disables to lock them down for as long as possible to secure the kill. Here is an example from a game I just recently played.
I can nightmare him again, but I've only got one spell. I'm going for him. You eat him?
I can now.
I need him to... Yeah, I got nothing. Nice, Blake. Very nice.
Later in the game, it becomes more difficult to get behind the enemy than it is in the laning stage, so the initiation becomes more critical to being successful. A lot of the time, teams will stick together in the late game with the occasional hero splitting off to shove a lane out, and these are good times to try and ambush that hero. The element of surprise is often what starts off a good gank, so heroes with blinks or other movement based abilities can help with initiating. Several items like the blink dagger can also help with this, but I'll talk about these a little bit more shortly. First though, I want to quickly go through some of the heroes that are good at ganking. Basically what you are looking for are heroes that have powerful disables or nukes that can obliterate enemies before they can escape. Heroes like Lion, Lina and Earthshaker are examples that have both disables and powerful nukes. As I mentioned before, the element of surprise really helps with a gank, and heroes that have movement based abilities such as blinks can help you to get on top of the enemy before they know what is happening. Queen of Pain, Storm Spirit and Ember Spirit all have exceptional initiation abilities or escape mechanisms to help get you in and out quickly. Some heroes can be exceptional gankers as well, but might rely on a few more items before they are as effective as others that rely a bit more on their abilities or levels. Riki is a prime example of this, as he can be a very strong ganker, but often needs 1 or 2 items like a Diffusal Blade before he becomes a high threat. Of course, there are heaps of other heroes that can gank well, and you can work a lot of these out for yourself by identifying heroes that have high burst damage, lockdown abilities, or movement based abilities, or any combination of these 3. If you are lazy like me, I've put a link in the description where you can go to find more information on heroes and items that are good for ganking. Alright, so the last thing I want to teach you about in this video are items that will help you to be more successful with a gank. Probably some of the most common ones are movement based that help you to get the jump and initiation on the enemy. The most obvious one here is the Blink Dagger, which instantly teleports your hero a short distance in the direction you choose and is amazing for heroes that have a stun or other lockdown like Axe's Berserker's Call or Legion Commander's ultimate Jewel. Shadowblade is another option, but it can be easily countered by sentry wards if your enemy is smart enough. Force Staff is another good option and can be used both offensively and defensively. Now, the Smoke of Deceit is probably the most powerful ganking item though, and is also the cheapest. While it doesn't help with actually killing the enemy, it helps you to remain undetected until you are within about 1,000 radius of the enemy, at which point it disappears and all hell breaks loose. The best part of the smoke though is that it hides you from enemy observer wards and sentry wards, and if you know they have wards where you intend to gank, you can use this to your advantage as they will rely on that vision to keep them safe. With the smoke though, you can blast right past their wards and really get the jump on them. Be careful though, as the smoke will pop when you get near enemy towers and enemy heroes, even if they are invisible. Items like the Rod of Atos or Yule's Scepter can also be quite good to help catch enemies and hold them in position while you get closer to cast your spells. The Rod can be very useful when you are light on disables and need to lock down a hero with an escape mechanism to buy you a bit of time to get close and blow them up. Of course, there are heaps of other items that can help too in many different ways, so check out the link in the info section below. Thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, make sure you hit that like button. I really want these videos to make a difference to your gameplay, and if you know someone or have a friend who might also find it helpful, please share it with them. If you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks again for watching, I'm Defied and happy gaming.